These are back doors, aren't they? Programmer exits. How do they work?
The code is hidden in tumblers. One position opens a lock. Another position opens one of these doors.
Are you a programmer? Then what are you?
I protect that which matters most.
Okay. That was a clip of The Matrix with Seraph and Neo going into an area of The Matrix which is like in between space, which doesn't really exist, but it did exist in inner space inside the Matrix program. And every single door, depending on the tumbler used, as you just saw, I'll probably play that again.
The code is hidden in tumblers. One position opens a lock. Another position opens one of these doors.
And as I said in the beginning, I didn't even draw a key. I imagined a key, which was based upon an electric atom and how an electron moved from orbit to orbit. I imagined how it did it. It turned out to be a key that went into my head and opened a lock, a scroll, which opened a scroll, which then allowed me access to everything as the spirit rushed in and visions came out. Any door could be opened to any place. And that's what brings us today to my crystal mind. Now, Seraph in the Bible is an extremely high-ranking angel, and in the Matrix, Seraph is that who protects that which matters most. So now you kind of get an understanding of the Matrix, that a lot of it is based upon biblical, hellish kind of scenarios, and Seraph is trying to protect the Oracle, and in heaven, the Seraphs surround God, screaming, "Holy, holy, holy." Basically, Seraph is a high-ranking angel. Now, the whole point of this video, I don't know if I've said this on video before. In the middle of these visions, I realised that I could control things of what I thought. Like, basically, if I thought of it, it would appear in front of me, and it would then explain to me how it worked. So today we're talking about my crystal mind. Now, it doesn't do it anymore because the spirit has moved on, because the spirit is like the wind and you don't know where it comes from or where it goes. The spirit raged through me for 3 weeks non-stop till I got a control of my thoughts, which was very difficult to try and stop thoughts coming into your head and to actually think nothing, because if ever I thought of something, it would appear and show me how it worked. So I decided to imagine my mind. I said, I want to see my thoughts. I'm suddenly looking up from horizon to horizon, as if I'm on a flat plane with a crystal dome over me. Now, I can see through this crystal, and within this crystal, embedded in the crystal, is every single thing I'd ever seen. And I could view it all. There were also hundreds and thousands of things that I'd never seen. But the best thing about it was I could see that every single door led to every single door. Now, that kind of still happens. I just don't see it that way anymore, because I fully explored my mind to see how everything in the universe was connected, which is what I've been doing for the last 5-6 years. I kind of haven't done a lot in the last 2 years, mainly due to personal circumstances that don't need anything here. But basically, back to the crystal mind. I've never experienced anything like it. It really was quite incredible to be able to look at every single thought as if it was contained in a room 10 foot by 10 foot. So you're looking up at a crystal mind dome that stretched to the horizon. So imagine being on Earth with nothing on the ground except crystal rooms and doorways, and every single door led to every other door. So it wasn't like one room had 6 doors, 4 sides, top and bottom. It's not like that. Wherever the door was, because I'm thinking about it now, and it's as if like there was a vortex between each doorway to another doorway, but then it would show that that doorway led to every single other doorway. I don't know how to, it's like looking at 4-dimensional space when one thing's inside another, which is inside another, which basically comes down to nested Russian dolls, which is how you're constructed, how the planet is constructed, how the solar system is constructed, how the universe is constructed. They've just found out that we have a shell around our entire galaxy. Not just solar system, but now there's a shell around our galaxy that they've discovered. So imagine that in your brain. So my mind was so energized by the Spirit that everything was displayed. And I just want to tell everybody that I believe that that's minimum of how much extra energy we have been missing since the beginning of creation. Brain power based on the electric field we are in. Our level of intelligence and brain usage goes up or down depending on the field that is energizing us. So when the Spirit entered me, I've said this before in my testimonial, every single hair on my body stuck out like I'd been electrified. For well over 3 weeks. Like I've just said, the visions were for 3 weeks, but that was before I got a handle on them, and it lasted about 3.5 years. So we're looking at maybe 2.5 years now that it's not raging through me, because I told everything 6 years ago. In the first 3.5, 4 years, I told mainly everything that I needed to get out of my head. So now there's nothing in my head that actually needs a lot of explaining. But that's what the Spirit is going to do to everybody. You have never been, like my hair stood on end for 3 weeks. And if I get into a really decent conversation or I'm explaining something that I have seen from the visions, the Spirit enters and my bodily hair starts rising up. So it doesn't matter if I'm in a hot room, a cold room, it still is a physical reaction I get to the Spirit. It's brilliant. I haven't had it for a while because I haven't really spoke about much. But this is just my personal experience of trying to explain what's coming. Because everything disappeared. Every want, need, lust, like, all gone. All gone. There was never a need after that. It's quite sad to actually come back down to earth with the Spirit gone. Because being a normal man is it's great, nothing wrong with it, but that leaves a bitter taste, sweet in your mouth, bitter taste in your stomach, because I've seen what's coming, what is, what was, and now we have to wait. But to see your own mind and be able to understand that everything is linked to everything, and then be able to explain it. This is what people seem to think, oh, he's in contact with God. Or they'll make fun that I'm in contact with God. I am not in contact with God. Me and God don't speak. Okay? God sent me vision after vision after vision after vision with purple edges that I couldn't shake, which is why I had to learn to control them, because it was like watching a movie in front of you. So I'd be out driving and I would think about something and I would have to pull over because I couldn't see. That's how strong the visions were. That's how I'm able to explain how plants, people, stars work, because I've seen it inside and out. Because it's already in our heads. We just can no longer access the information. We no longer... Jesus said, if you take me into your heart, I will be a lamp for your feet. Because we all walk in darkness. So what does that mean? That means you can see the future. That means you can see more information before it happens. And that's what happened to me. The spirit inside me became a flaming torch, a raging fire, and lit everything. Like the spirit, to me, felt like it expanded outside my body, which is why all my hair was pushed out with the energy that was being expressed invisibly. So when God says, I will be a lamp to your feet, it means you will have more information. I believe it means that he will give you extra energy to light up your mind, to give you more empathy, more love, more patience, more mercy, all the fruits of the Spirit. When the Spirit enters, maturity arrives at the same time, because you certainly have responsibility to everything that you know. So to have a crystal mind is a wonderful thing. That's what I'd like you all to know, and to let you know that that's what's coming. It's funny. I think about Hollywood, and they talk about how Hollywood are evil and blah, 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 and don't make any pictures or things to bow down to as idols, don't make anything from heaven. And I think people have iPads and they hold them in their hands. What happened to me was like an iPad, except it was in my head. So the things that we have here trying to make life easier, I believe already exist in heaven. Not so much computers, but more Star Trek-y, where you'd be like, Lord, can I speak to Dave? And you'll be able to. A picture of his face will pop out in front of you. Hey, Dave, what are you up to? Hey, how's it going? But nobody around you will see. When the old stories of people looked at people and said they were mad because they were just stood there talking to nobody, a man of God, and who the heck's he speaking to? How can he see anybody? Same way I had visions. So I'm pretty sure there'll be a lot of that going on in the new kingdom, which is kind of cool because everything's then extremely private and extremely good communication. So all these electronic things that we're trying to build, I wouldn't be surprised if they were in heaven, but obviously not for movies and games and things like that. Communication things from God, but not what we have here. This is like a replica. We are a reflection of heaven. Remember that. So what's going on here is the enemy trying to make heaven on earth for himself. So if he's trying to make heaven on earth for himself, and all they keep doing is pumping out more of this computer garbage of let's get robots and let's get all these slaves and let's get all these gadgets where we can know everything and control everything. This is because that's part of heaven. I just thought I'd mention that. Okay, I think I've spoke for long enough for now. Crystal mind. It's a good thing. And I would be happy that one day it returns. Now, I set a date a while back for a Revelation deadline. Again, I've said to people, like, don't trust that number. I'm not a big fan of numbers, and I hate it when people say this is going to happen. I just worked it out logically. God didn't show it to me. Maybe he showed it to me by inspiration, but it's what I've said. And I relatively stick by that. But what I want to say about it is, like, I'm 51. I'll be dead within 40 years, whether anything happens or not. So this isn't a deadline to death, revelation. You have to think about yourself now, depending on how old you are. How long is it going to be until you meet God? Are you 90? It's not going to be long at all. Are you 20? Maybe you've got 80 years. But always remember that. You could be meeting God tomorrow. Whether there's a revelation deadline or some number that somebody's put up, or science tells us that it's going to happen and our world is going to be ravaged by a micronova from the sun, which is being caused by a tsunami wave that's gone past Betelgeuse and gone past Bernard Star and is heading our way. An energy wave. So whether or not you believe me or you believe science, understand that you could be dead tomorrow. You could just drop down dead. So think about that before you place anything on people's timelines, my timeline, or anything else. We could all drop dead. Thanks very much. My name is Lee. I follow the Christ, and I'm trying to help people with God's words. Thanks a lot. Bye.